What up, QC crew? King Day is in the mother building.
Burn it up for so. JBRISKO, not no amateur. Run that shit, we at all the show. Say that shit for your camera roll.
Warning. Everything said in this video and on this platform is strictly my opinion and all alleged. Here, we speak about hot topics on YouTube and other social media platforms for entertainment and conversational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. What it do? It's your homie King Day here in King's Corner, and I am back with another reaction video for you. Now look, y'all, what's up? Today we have another messy TikTok story time situation going on. So ran across this video of this girl pretty much giving her story time on a situation that she had where her husband, I don't know if it's her ex-husband now, but her husband or ex-husband was sleeping with her mama. So her husband was sleeping with his mother-in-law, and I said, okay, she got a nice little 3-part story. It should be nice and short. Shouldn't be here too long. So I said I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, but I'm gonna get into it with the QC crew. All right. So look, I ain't gonna hold you. I never do. If you mess with me like I mess with you, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. We're gonna get straight into this video. Let's get it. Lego.
I'm about how my mom and my ex-husband now slept together over and over. I'll also show a few more pictures. This is like a complex situation, so I'll get through it as quickly as I can, but there's a lot to this. So this was my husband. Yes, my eyebrows are crazy thin. Here's another picture from our wedding. Now, my mom wasn't always looking the way she does, obviously, in her mugshot. She was actually quite beautiful, so let me show you a picture before the drugs overtook her. Oh. That was my mom. This is my mom and my husband around the time that they would have met. And this is my mom when my husband and her, I think, started sleeping together. I'll never know the exact timeline of when all...
First of all, she said over and over. And second of all, she showed a picture that looked at, not so great of her mom. He waited till she got on the rugs? Huh? Wait. What?
This happened. I know approximately when it happened, but my mom didn't want to go into details, and my ex-husband just downplays everything. So when she says that they've been together over and over and over, well over a dozen times, he says it was just twice. And you probably think I'm crazy to believe a meth addict over him, but this man is a pathological liar. I won't go into all the lies in this video. I do plan to make more videos about some of the other lies because it is amazing how someone can manipulate someone for so long and get them to believe the most insane things. Keep in mind, I met him when I was 19, so really impressionable, really young. We got married when I was 20. I couldn't even drink alcohol legally. So obviously a huge mistake.
How old was he?
But he convinced me he was a virgin when we married. I was a virgin for sure. Became very apparent to me that he was not a virgin, but I believed it and went with it. And then about 6 months into our marriage, one of the big lies broke open. I took my wedding ring to get cleaned, and the jeweler was being really kind, but he basically was like, I'm not sure why you want us to clean a piece of glass. And this was really crazy because I was with my grandma, and I literally I was at a mall, and so I went into just like the common area, and I called my husband immediately, and I was like, oh my God, you got scammed. Like, I was so dumb. He didn't get scammed. He bought a fake ring. It took me some time, but I finally came around, had the ring tested over and over. And it was definitely not diamond. Now, I just want to clarify. So this is was really upsetting to me because we had picked out, he always took me to the most expensive places. That was his thing. He just like slung money around as if he had a bunch. He didn't. He was broke, but I didn't know that. It appeared as though he had a lot of money. And I'm coming from like a broken situation in terms of like how I was raised. And so I'm looking for some security.
Okay.
So the ring was upsetting because he took me to Tiffany's. I picked out this little tiny yellow diamond ring with little tiny white diamonds around it. And it was like around $1,300, which was very affordable for us at that time. And
he shut
then
it
for
down.
fun, we tried on some like bigger, like dream rings.
Yeah.
And so we tried on like a 2-carat, really clear, nice cushion cut diamond. So when he gave me the wedding ring, when he surprised me with it, it was the 2-carat diamond ring, and I was really upset. I actually handed it back to him and asked him to return it because I knew it was a $60,000 ring. That's what they told us when we were there, and I have no interest in sinking that kind of money into a wedding ring, especially when there was just so many other things we could have done with that money. And so I just begged him to take it back, and he's like, no, it's a done deal. And instead of just telling me it didn't cost that much, like, that's not what it is, it's not actually real, he let me believe that I was carrying around this $60,000 ring, showing it off to people. One day I dropped it in the parking lot, and I had like an actual panic attack because I thought I just like ruined our lives, because that type of money is just insane to me. So anyways, really annoying that he did that. And when I finally found out it was fake, he still tried to deny it over and over. It was just a bad thing. And that's what started opening my eye up to things that are probably not true. So if you recognize him, if you were with him at some point, please reach out to me, because there were rumors going around that he was engaged when I met him. And I was young, I was 19. It's not an excuse, but when I asked him, he said, no, we're not engaged. We had been engaged for 6 years, but it didn't work out. She kept pressuring me for sex, and I didn't want to go through with it. Give me a freaking break.
Okay.
I feel so stupid for believing that.
That's
obviously.
a new one.
Hindsight's 2020. And so one day we're at lunch, we're working together. He's my boss. I mean, not technically my boss, but he definitely has more seniority than me. I'm a kid, basically, right? So we go to lunch one day.
How
and
old was he?
We run into his ex-fiance, and it was crazy awkward. And I just didn't think it should be, because I thought they had moved on from each other. He said they never lived together. I don't believe that now, but he claims they never lived together. And when I met her, she was just really upset. And so I just stepped away and let them have their space. But oh my God, if I could have been a fly on that wall, maybe I would have like woken up to what I was dealing with here with him. There's also another huge lie that came out in all of this. I believe now that none of his family knows that we were married. None of them came to the wedding. And I tried to send them invitations, and he would not let me send them. He said, oh, I'll take care of that for you. Just give me the invitations. I found them in his car like months later after we had already been married. So I knew he never sent them. And so when I confronted him about why he didn't send the invitations, he said that his family didn't want him to marry me, that I was basically beneath them. His family was ultra wealthy. His dad, like, I guess supposedly did like AstroTurf for like the NFL or something. And so he claims that I was sort of beneath what his family wanted for him. And next thing I know, I get these weird
She doesn't disclose. I don't know if she ever will, but where did they work is a question that I have. Where did y'all work? You said he was, he had some seniority over you. You know what I'm saying? But you said you were 18, 19. What type of job you scored basically fresh out of high school where someone one level or maybe 2 levels above you is making all this money and his family feels like you're beneath him? Y'all work at the same place. He's not the owner of the company. He's not a CEO or anything. He's just like a supervisor over you. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I have not been too many places where your supervisor is making so much more money than you. Like so much to where the family says like you're wealthy and the person that works notch up under you is not. This can be a huge company. But if your desk is right across from mine, I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. Y'all correct me. Y'all let me know, because this ain't adding up.
Emails from his dad. I still have these emails, and this was at a time when I didn't know like how easy it was for people to just make fake email accounts. It was like their first dot last name at gmail.com. And I believed it. I actually corresponded with his dad. I now believe those messages were from him, but they were vile.
And then especially if you're 18, 19 years old and you don't know people can make multiple email addresses, fake, whatever. And she said that was like 2020. So what is she like, 24, 25 right now?
They were the most vile messages I've ever received. His dad supposedly hit on me in these messages, which is, again, hindsight's 2020. I was a kid. Give me some grace. But yeah, those didn't come from his dad. And recently, when I was with him, one of his sisters called. He has, I believe, 3 sisters. And unfortunately, I can't contact any of them because I know their first names. I don't even know if I really know their first names. They're probably fake. I don't know their last names. I think they're all married. But anyways, he was on the phone with one of his sisters and I said, "Oh, tell your sister I said hi." And I could hear her say to him, "Who is that?" And he said, "Oh, it's just a girl." And she's like, "It better not be that ex-girlfriend of yours." And she goes, "You know, the redhead with the big boobs." So ex-girlfriend, right? She never knew that we were married. Anyways, back to the main story that you guys are interested in. I just kind of wanted to set the scene for some of the lies so you could understand kind of how this developed. So we tried to make it work for many years. He actually filed for separation from me for a crazy reason. I'll do a video on that sometime. And I told him, if you separate from me as your wife, he wanted to be separated legally, but he wanted to still be married and live together. And it's because he wanted to have our finances totally separate. And so I told him, if you separate from me, I will divorce you. And that's what I did. However, we haven't been able to break up fully, right? Like we just keep getting back together. We had a long spell of time where we weren't together. That's not when he was with my mom. I really don't know. I just know that when they were together, him and I were also together. Now, I've dated other people in the meantime, like when we've been fully separated. I've never cheated on anyone ever in my life. But this man has claimed until these lies came out, he had still claimed that he had only ever had sex with me. No one but me in all of these years, right? Like even up until a year ago, he was still saying that I was the only woman he had ever been with. Quick reminder, again, I have zero interest in people trying to dig up his identity and find out who he is. Again, he has a really public job. It's a really good job.
Who gives a damn? He's sleeping with your mama. Who gives a damn? Anyways, I almost forgot what the story was about, how deep we had went. I really did, but let's go ahead and get into it. Hopefully part 2, she really gets into it and it's not a snooze zone. Let's get it.
You're probably wondering like what it was, like why all this happened. I am definitely sapiosexual. I don't know if you know what that means, but
No.
I'm a person who is attracted to intelligence over anything else.
Okay.
And I don't know why I'm that way, and this individual is literally the most book smart, intelligent person I've ever met. And I've dated a surgeon and a scientist and a professor, people like that, right? That's like kind of my type, which clearly I need to change up. But that's always kind of like what intrigues me. And there literally isn't a subject that I could talk to this man about that he wouldn't know just everything. He has like a photographic memory. Whatever he reads, he fully retains. And we went to medical school. He went to law school. Again, this is what he told me. So who really knows? But I just believe it based on his wealth of knowledge.
Now I really want to know where they worked, because for him to be her supervisor, a couple of, not just higher than her in the business, he's smart as hell. So maybe he is making that money. I mean, that was just my assumption in the beginning. Maybe he is making that money. Maybe he got the mega bucks. But for her to be working at the company and he's a supervisor over her and she don't even know you can make an email and put somebody else's name on it, that's a little crazy. I'm sorry.
And
I don't care if you is 18 or 19.
Sort of what kept sucking me in, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I also believe that he is on the spectrum. He has always been against any type of therapy. In fact, that's what finally broke us up. Is I literally told him, if we're going to work through this, we have to have therapy. Like, I need help. I cannot be our therapist for this, because I am definitely more emotionally intelligent than he is. Anyways, I just truly believe he's on the spectrum somewhere. I think that all that intelligence he has come with a cost. Okay, so back to the story.
Thank you.
We were on a break, and it's a little bit complex, but he lives in my hometown. That's where his job is, and that's also where my mom lives. I had moved to another town, which is a few hours away, with my grandparents because my grandma got breast cancer, and we needed to get closer to medical facilities. So what had happened is I ended up getting a new place of my own, and I invited him and my mom to come over to see my new place, and my mom, obviously, she had started with the meth, and so she couldn't drive. She actually totaled her car and had a DUI. That's one of those mug shots, unfortunately. And so he offered to bring her over to visit. Now, I knew he was spending some time with her, but it did not seem like it was nefarious in any way. He would go over and like drop food off for her. He would, like if she had a yard sale, he would go and like purchase things. He basically was claiming that he was just trying to help her out because she was in a bad situation, and he was working desperately to get back with me. And so he thought if he helped my mom that I would be more interested in getting back together. And it did. It made me more interested. I thought it was really loving and caring of him to do that. So
okay,
they come over to my house, and right away I just noticed like really weird energy. It feels like my mom is jealous of my interaction with him, which is really strange. And him and I weren't together at this time. And so I just thought it was really bizarre. She just kept causing problems, and she's like always trying to one up me, and she kept fighting with him. It was just really uncomfortable. And so they ended up staying the night. And it's awful because I was like really burned out just dealing with my mom. If you've been around someone that deals with those types of drugs, they're exhausting. And so I told them that like I was going to bed. He followed me to my bedroom, and he, like, as he's shutting my door, he's like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of your mom." What that really meant was he took her into my bathroom, and they did it on my bathroom floor. Now, of course, I didn't know what was going on. They ended up leaving the next day, and then him and I, we basically started our relationship back up, and he...
Hold on. First of all, this man said, "Hold on, I'm gonna handle your mama." All right, cool. You should be able to handle her in front of me. I don't even know what handle her means. I can't even think of a situation where I would tell my wife, "Hold on, I'm gonna handle your mom." Because who are you to handle my mom? Like, she should have been able to handle her mom or tell her mom to calm down and chill out. Now, we know what he means by handle her because she just said it. But even if he didn't mean it in that sense, again, who are you to handle my mom? They weren't even together that long. This ain't even no deep relationship. This ain't no 15, 20, 30 years plus. It's a couple of years here, okay? If even that. So, first of all, you talking about you gonna handle her. Okay, maybe you know some type of way to calm her down, but you should be able to do that in front of me. Did you see them go into the bathroom? How do you know he handled her in the bathroom? And if you seen him handle her in the bathroom or go to the bathroom and close the door, but you didn't actually see the handling going on, that didn't like wake up your antennas to say like, why y'all gotta be in the bathroom with this door closed? You just let him do whatever he wanted to do. Then they did it behind closed doors, but not only behind closed doors, in the bathroom. It ain't no dealings that got to be done in no bathroom. Come on, girl, make this make sense.
Ended up moving in with me. We were together for a few months. Things went really well for a while. He ends up having to go back to my hometown for work. We're still together. Things are a little strained, but we're still together. And one day I am speaking with my mom on the phone, and I hadn't told her yet that we were back together. But I felt like it was time. People were starting to find out because it had been several months, and it had been several good months, to be totally honest. And so I was on the phone with my mom, and I was telling her that we were back together, and she's like, "Are you sleeping with him?"
We back together.
I was like, yes, like we're back together. And she said, "Oh no, I just wish you wouldn't have done that." And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "You don't know who he is." And I was like, "Well, sure I do." She goes, "No, you have no idea who he is. I have been sleeping with him." Sorry. Sorry, I'm trying so hard to not be one of those people that cry on the internet. And my dog gets really upset when I get upset.
Damn, that's a big ass dog.
I'll collect myself when we get back. Okay, so she just tells me, and we get off the phone. She does not tell him that she's told me. And those moments when time stands still, this was one of those moments for me. My heart just took off like a rocket. It was beating so hard. I had to sit down. I felt just like a wave of just emotion just rush over me. It was just like all of these fears I had had for so long came true, but in the worst way possible. I never imagined that it would be with my mother. I just felt in my heart that he had definitely been with other people. I just did not think it would be my mom. So my grandma was actually on her way over, like while I was on the phone with my mom. And so she came into my house and I was sitting on the couch and I told her, like, sit down. I have something to tell you. And I told her, and it was just, again, it was a very intense moment for both of us. We were both very, very upset. My grandpa did not like my husband. He, I think, saw through a lot of things. And, my grandma had always defended my husband to him. And so she felt bad for having done that. And it was a really hard thing for us to process. And then, of course, like the other element of this is that's my mom. How could my mom do that? It was really, really hard to hear it that day. I did not confront him right away. I took some time. I took a couple weeks, actually. He was in another town, so it was just easy for us not to communicate a lot. And I didn't tell him, and we just ended up just being really casual for that time. He could sense that things were strained between us, and so we decided that we were gonna meet up and try to do something fun. So he rented an Airbnb, a bed and breakfast, and it was in a town that was in between us. And I was basically thinking, okay, that's where I will confront him. I knew I was going to record it because I have such a history of this person lying, and getting him to admit a lie is like pulling teeth. I'm not exaggerating. He just will look for any excuse to not look like a liar. He does not accept that he is a liar. I don't think he believes it. So I set up this basically date with him at this bed and breakfast so that I could get the information out of him that I wanted and try to get this all behind me. So I'll do another video on that, which will be me confronting him. I'm not doing it today. I'm pretty tapped out emotionally, but maybe tomorrow I will talk about how I confronted him, and then I have those recordings, and I'm also going to post clips from that. But again,
right, let's get to it.
Okay, so part 3. Again, I'm that unlucky girl whose man, this guy, got with this woman who also happens to be my mom. So if you haven't watched the previous 2 parts, you might want to. This is part 3, which is how I confronted him. So again, my mom had told me over the phone that her and him had been sleeping together, and I, at this point, was just shocked because in my heart, I felt like he had been with someone, but I never dreamed it was my mom. So basically, he wanted to see me. I took some time to just process this. He did not know I knew. And then he ended up renting a bed and breakfast for us, which was in between the 2 towns we lived in. So I drove there to meet him. And I knew I was going to record the conversation because I've just had so many scenarios, like if you see my past videos, of just insane lies this person has told me. And then he always tries to downplay it later. So I wanted to have like the actual recording so he could never try to make this seem like it isn't as bad as it is, because that is just his forte. That's what he does. And in the next part, I'll start including some of those clips from the audio recording. I found an app on my phone that I could use that would help me record without him knowing. Okay. Also, side note, in the recording, when I finally tell him, like, I recorded you, you can never deny that this happened. He called me twisted for having recorded him, even though he had just like admitted to the worst thing you could do to, I mean, there are worse things, I'm certain, but he admitted to something pretty terrible, and he called me twisted for having the audacity to record it. So we met for lunch. First, it was pretty awkward, but we met for lunch, and then we went to the bed and breakfast, and he immediately wanted to jump in bed. And I was like, no, we have to talk. There's some important things here to discuss. I started out kind of light with some of the smaller lies because I just decided like I was going to try really hard to break up with him from this point on. And so my goal was just for my own peace of mind to try to get him to admit to all of the lies. And I didn't cover them all, but the big ones, you know, for example, one of the first lies, I did a video on that before, just before this one actually, that he bought me a fake wedding ring. And he never wanted to admit that was the truth about it. So that was like one of the first lies. Another lie was that he's not a virgin when we got married, which I was a virgin. He wasn't, but he claimed he was. And that was also a really big deal to me. I did not care that he was a virgin when we got married because I didn't expect him to be a virgin. That's a choice that I made. I was young. I was 19. He's older than me. And so I did not expect him to be a virgin, but I do expect honesty. And so the thing that bothered me about it was just that he wasn't truthful. Some of the other just like stupid little lies. One time we went down south and he, like my grandma was with us, and my grandma's like, she's like my mom, truly. She's always been there for me. And he bought her a couch, like a really nice leather couch. And then like for months and months, he kept saying there was shipping issues, that Macy's wouldn't deliver. We were in Southern California, but we lived in Northern California, and he claimed that Macy's wouldn't ship to us. All these ridiculous lies. But the truth is, like, he never bought the couch. So that was another thing I got him to admit to. Just stupid little lies that have just bugged me over the years. Another one was when we got together, he convinced me to sell my car. I actually had a nicer car than the car he was going to have me drive, but he didn't want me to have a car payment. And so he convinced me to sell it. I sold my car, which I really loved. And then I started driving his old car. He bought himself a brand new sports car. And then one day he called me up and he said, I'm going to get you your dream car. And he's like, I got to go down south to get it. And I'm going to trade this one in for it. And I was like so excited, when in reality, he took that car down there and just sold it. And he never came back with the car. So I effectively lost a vehicle, and my grandparents gave me like an old beater.
Why would you sell a car that's yours? I don't care what he's talking about. Let me have two cars then. I'm going to have the car that I have, that I came into this relationship with. And if you want to get me my dream car and trade your old car in, then I'll have two cars. Or how about when they both in my face, then I'll make that decision to get rid of mine if I want to. And then what's up with people? Can y'all explain to me? Because I know it's probably some of y'all in the comments that y'all probably been through something similar. You dealing with somebody who tell little and big lies. What's up with that? It's like, I'm not gonna necessarily say I probably would have broke up with somebody over lying about a couch, but my antennas is gonna be up. Like, you literally got 3 times. Like, you don't tell Mima that you finna get her a couch and then lie about shipping and all of this crazy stuff just for it to come out that you never bought Mima the couch, bro. Like, how do y'all stay with these people? It's like, once y'all find out that they lying about this stuff, how do you break up and get back together and break up and get back together? I understand she's saying she's young, so we'll give her half of a pass on that, right? But baby, it's 30, 40, 50-year-olds out here doing the same thing. Like, you keep catching your man in these same lies over and over and over again. It's about different stuff, but you catching them, whether they little or they big. Why are you still, how do you be with a liar? You told me you were going to buy her that nice leather couch and didn't even put the funds up for it. You told this girl you was finna go to Southern California, trade the car you got for her dream car, and all you did was just sell the car. Came back with no car. Like, how could you even stay with him after all this?
That they still had at the time.
Standards be low.
So anyways,
as hell.
we're just like on a roll. All these lies are trickling in. And then it's time to do the big one, right? Like, did you sleep with my mom? So first I asked him if he slept with my mom. He immediately says no. I asked him again and again and again, and he just keeps telling me no, no, no. I wouldn't do that. That's so gross. Like, yeah, you are gross, dude, because you actually did do it. Sorry, I'm like getting a little... There's a lot of anxiety still in me around all this, and that's part of why I created this account. Is I'm trying really hard to move past it, and I am also trying very hard not to ever go back to him, but he's extremely persistent in my life, and I'm also trying to cut ties with my mom, which is really hard to do all that at once. And so anyways, I apologize if I'm like a little bit nervous. So ultimately, I had talked to my mom and told her that I had planned to do this with him. And so the only good thing that she has done is she did have my back in this. And she told me, if you need me to call in and like get him to admit this, I will. And so because he kept denying it to me, I had to call her in, which sucked, because I really didn't want to have to involve her in it. And I feel like she feels like she has less blame now because she helped me get him to admit it. And like, that's just not true. Like, you still did something insanely wrong to your daughter. Like, I don't have a kid, but I did play a very big part in raising my sister. And I can tell you, like, I would never do anything to intentionally hurt that kid, like, not ever. And so I just can't imagine, like, your own daughter, that you could do this. So we get my mom on the phone, and this is kind of why I had to really heavily edit the clips from the audio that I wanted to share with you, because keep in mind, my mom is on very, very serious drugs. That's why she looks the way she does in her mugshot that I've showed you, because, you know, people that live that sort of life, it definitely changes them. And the one that starts with an M, the big one that starts with an M, that's the one that she's hooked on. And so in the recording, she's kind of all over the place. She's really loud and obnoxious, expletives everywhere. But she does kind of get a moment of clarity, and she says, okay. She says to him, you know, this is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but you need to admit this for her. And I think she believed that I was trying to stay with him, because she says in the clip, you know, that you guys are gonna have to work through this, but it'll make you guys like a better couple or whatever. But I went into this believing that I would never be with him ever again. So that's why the clips are pretty heavily edited. She eventually is starting to get off the phone because she thinks I haven't asked him yet. And so she goes to get off the phone. She goes, okay, do you need anything else? And I was like, well, yeah, you know, I've already asked him multiple times and he has said no. And that just sends her into like a rage. You'll hear it on the clip, but she says to him, okay, she's like, ask him in front of me. And so I ask him again. He denies it. I really believe he thought she was going to have his back in this, which is just insane to me. I don't actually believe my mom was into him in any way. Every transaction they had either gifts or money involved. And so, you know, keep in mind, my mom was selling her body to get the things that she wanted, which starts with an M. And so because of that, you know, first off, as soon as she told me that she had been with him, I cannot tell you how fast I ran to my OBGYN and had every single test and panel, all of it done, right, and repeated again at 3 months and repeated again at 6 months. Anyway, she finally says to him, like, you're going to tell her the truth. And these aren't the exact words. You'll hear it later when you watch the clips that I'm going to upload. But anyway, he does eventually admit to it, but only when I say, look, because she also asks him and he denies it again, and that just really upsets her. And so I finally say to him, because I know what he wants and I know what he's afraid of. He's afraid of losing me. Keep in mind, when they did get together, part of it was when we were broken up. And it's just really gross because he has been very plain with the fact that he was like using her, but thinking about me, and like I was the closest thing to her. It's really gross. Like, I'm not even going to tell you some of the most disgusting things he said to me. So I finally say to him, if we're going to work through this, you have to admit it. And he did. Again, I wasn't planning to work through it, but I just had to say whatever I could.
Had to say what you had to say.
So the clips will be up in the next part.
All right, y'all. That's all I could take. Look, if y'all want to hear the confessions, I will leave her TikTok down in the comment section. Her page, she doesn't upload much, so you'll be able to see it fairly quick. It's like more towards the top of her TikTok. But I guess I could say this. I can give her a little bit of grace. It sounds like this is probably not her first boyfriend. You know, you have a little middle school, little high school, you know, boyfriends, girlfriends, and stuff like that. But this is her first serious thing. And he got her where he wanted her quickly. He got her where he wanted her at a young age. And she just didn't know any better, you know. So I guess I could say I probably was a little bit too harsh, especially with maybe the email thing. As she says, she's still working through it, and I hope she gets through it. I'm glad that she made that decision to really officially let him go. She said what she had to say to get him to admit what she needed him to admit. And that was the final straw for her. So I'm glad that she came to realization that this is not something that she needs, and there's better. You know, she can do better. There is better. Somebody that will go and sleep with your mom. I don't care. He's talking about, I was thinking about you the whole time, or this is that. All that is nasty. I don't want to hear it. Ain't none of that flattering at all. None of it. So I'm glad she made it out, you know, and I hope she stays strong and stand her ground and start building boundaries and standards for her next relationship and things like that. But that's it for me, y'all. If you like videos from me and you want to see more is to come. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, because right now, King Day is out. Peace. The motherfucking build. What's up, y'all? Really quick, I just want to ask that you guys check out the GoFundMe that is linked down in the description and or comment section. The GoFundMe is for my good homie's mom. Recently, they found out that her mom was diagnosed with lung cancer, and the family is asking for donations of any size. She pretty much needs assistance with covering the co-pays for her doctor visits and also like gas money to get to and from treatment. So I asked if you guys have it, if it's on your heart to donate, please do. And if you do not have it to donate, perfectly fine. But if you can copy the link, share it on your Facebook, share it on your social media so that my friend's mom can reach her goal of $1,800, it'll be greatly appreciated. All right, QC crew, I hope you all have a great, wonderful, blessed day.
Run it up was up. JBRISKO, not know when was up. Run that shit, we had all the show. Say that shit for your camera roll.